I'm just a guy who loves Disney that has way too much time on his hands. If anybody from Disney is watching, please don't sue me. I'm here to rate, review, and describe all of your favorite things from the magical world of Disney. I'm File91e and welcome to my Disney news and reviews. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Disney news and reviews. I'm File91e. Pretty good week for me this week, guys. My Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, and I know a lot of you out there supported me. There were a couple fans who weren't Ravens fans who let me have it a little bit, but you know what? We still won, and your guys didn't, so we won. I probably have like a hernia, a couple hernias, and maybe an ulcer, and I had a couple heart attacks on Sunday, so it was a great game. You know, both teams played their their darndest, and it was really great. It really was. So I just that kind of had me float on throughout the week. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah. So just a bunch of stuff coming up. Valentine's Day is coming up, so that's interesting. File91e's single again, or still, yeah, still, awesome stuff. But yeah, other than that, nothing's really going on. I'm getting a new bed, and I'm going to be building a computer soon, so that should be fun. Other than that, thanks to all the new subscribers. I hope I can, keep up this level of video ship that you guys subscribed for, and I hope in the end you'll enjoy it. But yeah, so that's it for me this week. Let's get right to the news. Like I mentioned before, my Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, and with the winning of the Super Bowl, they had to name an MVP. And quarterback Joe Flacco, was the MVP for the Super Bowl for the Baltimore Ravens. And being the MVP, he got to utter the famous line, "I'm going to Disney World." Hey Joe Flacco, what are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World. And obviously he did. The next day, that Monday morning, he participated in the Super Bowl parade, the MVP parade, and him along with Mickey were the headliners in that parade. And granted that Joe Flacco is not the most interesting guy in the world, and he's not very charismatic, but plus he also just came off a Super Bowl win, and I'm sure he was really tired, so he wasn't the most charismatic guy out there. And plus he also had to fly up to David Letterman to do his show that night, so there was a lot of stuff going on, and a big week for him for the Super Bowl MVP. So congratulations to Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens for winning the Super Bowl, and yes! And in other Disney news, heads up for discounts on a Characters in Flight balloon ride. Check out Groupon for some big discounts on Downtown Disney's Characters in Flight balloon rides. Deals include up to a 44% off a ticket for two and 39% off a single ticket. So that's a pretty good deal. If you're into that, be sure to check out Groupon for all those awesome deals and savings and whatnot. I've used Groupon a couple times, and it's really awesome. My Magic Plus Touch to Pay has gone live at Downtown Disney locations today. Touch to Pay allows guests to use the Key to the World Resort ID to make payments by touching the card to the Mickey Head RFID reader at each register. A PIN number is set during the check-in will be required for all purchases. The vast majority of the Walt Disney World is now using the system, with just a few more locations remaining. This is going to be a new big thing. And also new in My Magic Plus, the final component of the next-gen My Magic Plus experience is set to begin testing in the parks. This is big, in the parks, late next week. Magic bands, these new little wrist straps, will be given to a limited number of guests during a small trial period where a full spectrum of My Magic Plus will be tested in real-world use for the first time. So this is the first time they're really going to get to use this in a real-world setting. Wearing the magic bands allows guests to touch to enter at the park's main entrance, touch to pay at shops and quick service restaurants, and touch for Fast Pass Plus access to attractions, and touch to enter room access. Test Track will become the first attraction where the magic bands can be used as part of the experience in place of the white cards that are currently being used at the studio. The standard My Magic bands are expected to be available in a range of colors: red, black, blue, all that other stuff. But Disney has also said that special designer magic bands will be available at an additional cost. So you can get your customized magical bands soon whenever they start rolling this stuff out. Now, it's expected that once the initial magic band test is complete, the rollout will continue in phases to a full deployment of My Magic Plus during the remainder of 2013. So by the end of this year, we should have a My Magic Plus rollout for the entire Walt Disney World area. So that should be really cool. And in some rehab and refurbishment news, Disney Junior Live on Stage has been closed for a refurbishment and is set to reopen officially on Friday, February 15th. That's next Friday. Cast member only previews are scheduled for tomorrow and Monday, with guest soft openings then expected ahead of the official opening on Friday. As always, plans are subject to change, especially with the soft openings, but if you're in the park and want to see the new show, keep a lookout midweek. They should be opening up for soft openings then. The show has been updated with new characters, including Sophia the First and Doc McStuffins, so they're really starting a new thing with that. And you know, if you're into the Disney Junior stuff, check that out. It's going to be a cool show. So that's it for the news this week. Let's get right to the reviews. Now, as you can probably tell by the title of this this video, I'm not doing a review this week. I don't know, I just felt like doing something different, and I haven't done a top 10 anything in a long time, and I didn't want to make it a bonus video because I figured that might be cheating a little bit. But you know, I don't know, I just haven't done an official top 10 in a while, and I got a request by Black Mamba 8131 to do a top 10 underrated attractions list for Walt Disney World. And I thought that would be kind of fun to do. Just kind of something different, something unique, and totally worth exploring. So here are my top 10 underrated attractions in Walt Disney World. Number 10 is going to be the Maelstrom in Epcot in the World Showcase in the Norway Pavilion. Now, I reviewed this a couple weeks ago, and I told you that it wasn't one of my favorite attractions, and it really isn't. It's not one of my all-time favorite attractions, but so many people love this attraction that I had to give this some love. That's why I want to start it out with number 10. I can understand why this would be an underrated attraction because a lot of people love it. It's one of the only attractions with a thrill in the whole World Showcase section of Epcot. So honestly, to make an official decision for yourself, it's totally worth checking out the next time you're in Epcot. So the Maelstrom, number 10 on my top 10 underrated Disney attractions list. Number 9 is the PrimevalWhirl in Disney's Animal Kingdom in the Dinoland USA section. Now, I did a review on this too, and this is one of my all-time favorite attractions in Disney's Animal Kingdom. And the reason why is purely and simply, it's a fun attraction. So it's something different, and it gives you a reason to go to the Dinoland USA section. Now, a lot of people are apprehensive about going to the Dinoland USA section of the Animal Kingdom because it's all kiddie rides except for this one. While this might be in the kiddie rides section, this is definitely a roller coaster that's not to be taken lightly. It's one of those Wild Mouse coasters, and while there's not a whole lot of huge drops and whatnot, this is one of the few attractions that actually spins around while you're moving. So you go up and you go around some sharp turns, and at precise points throughout the ride, the attraction spins while you're dipping, which is awesome. Totally worth checking out if you haven't been on the PrimevalWhirl. Definitely make that one of those things you definitely see when you go down next time. It's totally worth seeing in Disney World. So the PrimevalWhirl in the Dinoland USA section of Disney's Animal Kingdom, number 9. Check that out. Number 8 is Tom Sawyer Island in Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. Now, a lot of people haven't really been to Tom Sawyer Island ever because there's no reason to really go over there, ride-wise. There's no attraction over there. But the island itself is an attraction, and I haven't reviewed it yet, and I will soon. But it's when I went over there last time, it was the first time really that I had been on Tom Sawyer Island since I was like 4. So I got a good chance to look at it and really enjoy it for what it is. And I really actually enjoyed it. I would have loved to have had more time to get on it. Unfortunately, this attraction is one of those, cut for time attractions. You know, there's no real reason to go over those, so you cut it because you're limited on time. If I had an extra day or an extra 2 hours just to just spend over there, I totally would, because it's fun, because you get to cross the the rivers of America. Whatever it's called, raft. There you go. That's the word I was looking for, raft. And it was really neat to see the detail that the Disney Imagineers brought in for Tom Sawyer. They brought in a lot of stuff for the books. The whitewashing of the fences, and Injun Joe's cave and everything. There was a lot to see and a lot to explore, with it. And just there was a lot to do. And this is a great place for parents to let their kids run around, because the kids aren't going anywhere. But it's just a really fun thing to see, and it's a different perspective. You actually are looking out at Disneyland. It's almost like going, you're leaving Disney World, but you're not leaving Disney World at the same time. You're looking at the attractions from across this weird body of water, and it's just, I really enjoyed it because it was a different perspective on the whole thing. So, the next time you're down in the Magic Kingdom, if you have extra time, check out Tom Sawyer Island, because I totally had a good time with it, and it's definitely something I might see next time if I have the time to actually see it. So, Tom Sawyer Island, number 8. Number 7 is Flights of Wonder in Disney's Animal Kingdom. I really don't know. I guess this would be in the Asia section, but it's in between Asia and Africa. And this show was very, very fun. This was a show that we went on after the Kali River Rapids to dry off, and we were kind of ahead of schedule because we arrived at the Animal Kingdom really early. We're there for the the opening parade procession and all that, and it was just great because we got to get on rides, just walk on them, and it was so awesome. Now, as far as this attraction goes, it's very, very fun, and I think a lot of people skip it over because it's a show and it's not really one of the featured shows that Disney really puts on. It's just interesting to see all these different birds and how they interact with the people on stage, and you learn stuff, and plus you got some that fly over your head, and if you're in the one good spot, you'll actually get a great photo opportunity to take some photos of these birds really up close and flying overhead, and just to see the vast number of birds and the level of detail and information that is given for this show, I really enjoyed it, and it was one of my sleeper hits when we went to the Animal Kingdom. Even my brother was like, dude, that was actually kind of cool. So, granted, it's always one of those attractions that could get axed at any time, but it's been open since 1998, since this thing opened. Granted, the story has gone through a couple of changes. I like this current story, this current storyline. It's really interactive, and it's interesting to see what the birds do. They will poop on you. I mean, birds really don't have control of their bowels, so if they're flying overhead, keep an eye out because you might get pooped on. Not gonna lie, it's happened before. But definitely something worth seeing. So if you're down in Disney's Animal Kingdom and you got some time, check out the Flights of Wonder. And I always recommend getting to the parks early so you can have the maximum amount of time to do everything and to see these little intricate things around the park. So yeah, the Flights of Wonder, number 7, check it out. Number 6 is going to be Main Street USA. Yes, Main Street USA. Why is that an attraction, you ask? Well, because it's Main Street USA. It's something that's almost overlooked because it's hiding in plain sight in the Magic Kingdom. There's so many other things to do ride-wise in the Magic Kingdom that a lot of people forget to stop and take a look at Main Street USA. All the different levels of details, and the shops are fun, but just to go in and see these different little things and walk in the back of the crevices and all that stuff, you're going to find stuff that you never thought you would ever see. And the level of detail that the Imagineers put into the Main Street is hugely awesome. One of my favorite things is going into the barber shop. I love the barber shop. The candy shop's fun too. I love the Art of Disney stores. I also love to go into the glass fixture store. There's a guy there who actually is working with glass and is making it, so that's really cool to watch. There's just a lot of different things that are on Main Street USA that so many people overlook. And Main Street USA was a pretty big thing in the whole lore of Disney because Main Street USA was designed with with Walt's childhood in mind. It was a fantasized turn of the century street that Walt remembered, that he remembered as a kid, even though it might not have looked like that when he grew up. In his mind it did, and he made that awesome street as the gateway to this wonderful magic kingdom. And it's totally worth exploring. And if you have the time next time when you go down to Disney World, check out Main Street USA. Really check it out. Don't just walk past and go, oh, that's nice. No, go into the shops, go in and see and smell the different places, because I guarantee you're going to have a great time. We ate at Casey's Corner, which is awesome, totally worth checking out. And just all the different little levels of imagination in there is great. So check out Main Street USA. That's number 6 on my top 10 underrated Disney attractions list. Check it out. Now we're breaking into the top 5. Number 5 is Walt Disney One Man's Dream. Now you might think this is something, as a Disney fan, that every Disney fan goes into. Well, unfortunately, not every Disney fan goes to Disney World. A lot of people go to Disney World just for the rides and the attractions, and they don't really appreciate going down and learning about where all this came from and how it started. So when they came out with Walt Disney One Man's Dream, I was actually upset that it wasn't on Main Street USA somewhere, because they have a lot of room over there. And I really would have liked it to be on Main Street USA in the Magic Kingdom, but I understand why it's in Disney's Hollywood Studios, because Hollywood Studios is the movies, and without Disney there would be no awesome animated movies. So it really fits over there, and I think it's actually getting a lot more respect as the years go on, because people go in and appreciate it for what it is. It's not just a simple walk through museum and movie at the end. There's a lot of stuff to see in this attraction. There's tons of bits of information all the way through Walt's life. You see his a recreation of his office, how he stood with the Disneyland TV series, his workbench, the multi-plane camera, all these different things that not the the layperson might not know about Walt Disney, is there so people can see and understand just how Walt started everything, how he how the Walt brothers really started everything. And without his awesome imagination, we wouldn't have the movies and the parks and all this stuff. And without Walt Disney, we wouldn't have Captain Jack Sparrow, or just all the other different things that we take for granted. It all came from one dude, and he said it came from one character, Mickey Mouse. So it's amazing to go through and see, and they did a great job with this with One Man's Dream, and I would love to see it constantly be evolving and updated and showing different things. Now granted, they did open the Walt Disney Museum over in Burbank, or wherever it was in California, but a lot of big stuff is there too, so check that out. But Walt Disney One Man's Dream is a very fitting tribute to the man who created this entire awesome park and this world. So big kudos to that, and awesome attraction. So Walt Disney One Man's Dream, 5 on my top 10 underrated attractions. Definitely check that out the next time you're going down if you haven't already. Number 4 is Ellen's Energy Adventure. Now you might think, why is this on the list? I love Ellen's Energy Adventure. Well, because not many people do. A lot of people think it's a 45-minute snooze fest. And I love Ellen's Energy Adventure. That's why it's so high up on this list. A lot of people didn't like it, again, because it is boring. But the fact that they added Ellen in there really made it not so boring, because when it opened, it was pretty much just all about it was just the universe of energy, and all it was a giant conversation on energy. There really wasn't any oohs and ahs, aside from the fact that the theater broke up and you went through this audio animatronic dinosaur land, which is awesome. They still have it there, obviously. They added Ellen in, and I think this attraction is actually due for another upgrade, because with all the different bits of science going on right now about energy and the greenhouse gases and all that other stuff, and all the different levels of fame that scientists are getting right now, like Neil Tyson deGrasse, or Degrassi Tyson, sorry, I forgot. I always get those two mixed up. And Bill Nye is still back in the news, and talking to being brought up and whatnot. So I think that's awesome. I think this is totally due for a new little revamp. Keep Ellen and Bill Nye, and bring in another scientist like Neil Tyson deGrasse, or Neil deGrasse Tyson. Again, I'm sorry, but I think this, that could be cool. But the current version is one of my all-time favorite Epcot attractions, and I think not a lot of people give it as the love that it deserves. So Ellen's Energy Adventure is number 4 on Epcot in the Universe of Energy. Check it out, number 4, top 10 underrated attractions. Number 3, there are 2 of them, and they are the Maharaja Jungle Trek and the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail in Disney's Animal Kingdom. I did not like these when I first went down. I think it was because I was being rushed. I didn't have the time to really enjoy these attractions for what they were. But when I went down last time, I gotta say they were some of my sleeper hit attractions in the Animal Kingdom. I don't really like the Animal Kingdom too much, but it's starting to warm it in my heart a little bit. Definitely not taking any places, not moving up anything in my ranking of the parks. But I appreciate it a lot more now because I actually had time to do things. That's my biggest tip about traveling through the Animal Kingdom is have the time to do it. Have the time to actually go in and see stuff. And the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail and the Maharaja Jungle Trek are no exceptions. They're the walk-through attractions where you see animals and whatnot. They're the zoo portions of Disney's Animal Kingdom where you actually can see and animals interact with one another. You can take photos, and there's lots of bits of there's like air-conditioned rooms where you can read about different things, and there's there's tigers and gorillas and birds and fish and more birds. It's just it's really crazy, just to see how many animals they have in this thing, and it's totally worth your time. So if you get to the Animal Kingdom with a reasonable amount of time to spare, try to work these in there because it's totally worth it. Definitely see Expedition Everest and the Kilimanjaro safaris before, but if you really want to get some up close time with some animals, you can actually get some great photos and whatnot with these things. These animals are pretty cool. But if you go too early, they're still going to be asleep. So that's my only tip there with these 2. So the Maharaja Jungle Trek and Pangani Forest Exploration Trail, number 3. Number 2 is the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover. A lot of people don't go on this because it is a huge diversion attraction, but I love it simply because of the Disney history that it provides. And this was one of those attractions that almost took the place of the monorail in Disneyland. But the People Mover is so classic, from the narration to the color of it to it goes in Space Mountain and takes you through. I just get so nostalgic when I get on this thing. I could almost ride it consistently, like 3 times, just going in and out and in and out, because it's just fun. It's a great load off your feet, especially after you've been walking all day. And I don't know, I get a nostalgic feeling whenever I get on it, and it's just, to me, it brings back the history of Walt Disney World. And with all the flashy stuff that we have now with the rides like the Tower of Terror and all the other things, some rides just are, some basic rides are totally worth it, like the Tomorrowland People Mover and my number 1 attraction, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. So the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, number 2, and number 1 is the Carousel of Progress, literally right next to the TTA. But it's my all-time favorite ride at Disney World, tied with Pirates of the Caribbean. And again, it's one of my all-time favorite rides, or is my all-time favorite ride, because of the history that it has with Disney. Plus, there's an emotional attachment with it for me, with my grandmother and whatnot, and my family getting on it. But this was also the attraction that this was like the first attraction that spawned Disney World. If it wasn't for one of this and this and Small World and all that, and we really wouldn't have the Disney World that we have now. The effects in this for the time when it was made was just completely huge. It was unbelievable. And now it's it's not as cool anymore. It's not the hip attraction, but it is cool in the fact that it is air conditioned. Hey people. But it's totally worth your time, especially if you're the budding Disney fan. If you're getting into Disney history, this is one of those attractions you have to see. This is, to me, these types of attractions make Disney World different than most other, amusement parks. I say Disney is a theme park because there's a theme to everything, and everything has a purpose. Whereas in amusement parks, you can get on. You know, there's 3 roller coasters right next to one another. They really don't have a purpose. They're just called the Wildcat or the Roaring, Screaming, Flaming Banshee. That would be an awesome roller coaster, though. The Roaring, Screaming, Flaming Banshee. That would be cool. That'd be awesome. Maybe I have to go play Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and make the Roaring, Screaming, Flaming Banshee. But anyway, I digress. But the Carousel of Progress has its history in Disney, and it's totally worth your time when going down to Disney World. And one of the attractions that I think, if you were to ever go down to Disney World with me, even if you had no interest in this attraction, I would force you to get on, because it's one of those things that I love with all my heart, and my favorite attraction in Walt Disney World. So the Carousel of Progress is my #1 underrated Disney attraction, and I hope it doesn't go anywhere because it's one of my all-time favorites. So there you go, my top 10 underrated Disney attractions, and I hope I didn't omit anything, and if I did, get the conversation going. Tell me your top 10 favorite underrated Disney attractions, and see how it differs from mine. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Awesome stuff. Well, that's going to be it for this week's Disney News and Reviews, guys. Again, thanks to all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome, and I'll get back to regular reviews next week. If you want me to review any one certain thing, ask me, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, if anybody from Disney is watching, please don't sue me. I want people to go down to Disney World and just enjoy it, because there is a magic in Disney World that not many people understand, but once they go, they feel it. There's something different. I'm not sure what you put in the air or what you put in the water, but when you go down to Disney World, you understand why it's different, why it's the #1 amusement park of all time, why it's consistently #1, 2, 3, or 4. The parks and everything, in the theme park lists and whatnot. But there is a magic to Disney World that not many people can understand or touch or explain, but when you go down there, there's a magic, especially whenever you get that one perfect moment. When you sit back and let the magic just kind of wash over you. It's really awesome. So just want people to go down and feel that. Now, if you are going down to Disney World, be sure to go to allears.net, touringplans.com, wdwmagic.com for all your latest and greatest Disney news. WaltDisneyWorld.com is good too, straight from the horse's mouth stuff. They recently redid their site. It's really great. It's awesome. Check it out. And yeah, so go Ravens, and don't know what to do with myself today. There's no football on, so I'm kind of lost. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week for another Disney News and Reviews. Bye, guys.